I bought this Boland's QT17 to help me maintain my property. Now up here at the top, it does great. But down here at the bottom, it's a little different. From the top, it looks relatively flat. But when you get down here, it definitely feels a lot steeper. Now, I don't know how accurate the iPhone level is, but it's the only thing I have, so it's what we're gonna go off of. But you can see with the angle that it's showing, this becomes a problem for the Bolands, specifically for the engine. The engine itself is a Kohler KT17QS with a 24106A spec number, and it's a Series 1 engine, not the Series 2, and that is important to remember. It's important because the Series 1 doesn't use a full pressurizing oiling system, it relies more on splash lubrication, which means running on slopes can be hard on the engine. And my backyard is a little hilly. The areas I'll actually be mowing though are flat, but I do have to go up and down the hill to reach those sections. So I think it'll be okay as long as I'm mindful of how I use it. Now I knew none of this before I bought this lawnmower. It was only after I purchased this lawnmower, started repairing it, doing more research, that I learned of this serious flaw of the engine. However, hindsight is 2020, so moving forward. Now my property being on a hill is not the only problem that I have. The second problem is rocks. Last time I ran the mower down here, I hit one, which turned into a whole video about a repair. So I'm gonna try to avoid that in the future. The third problem I have is the ground itself. You can see it's a bit uneven from this clip. So if one side of the mower deck hits uneven ground, it can come off the lift pin, and now that part of the deck sits lower on that side. And once it's off the lift pin, I can no longer raise it on that side. Which, if you combine that with problem number 2, the rocks, you can start to see more repairs in your future. So with all of that said, we're still gonna mow a little down here. Just a small section. It's already down here. And I'll raise the deck up all the way so that gives me a little more room so I'm not hitting rocks. Okay, before I destroy the engine, I'm going to bring it back up the hill. Now from this point on, the Bolands is only going to mow the upper part of the yard. And because the Bolands can't safely mow the lower sections, that's where this comes in. This is my Toro Recycler 22. I've had it for about 8 or 9 years, never changed the oil, I've changed the blade once, and it spent a lot of its life sitting outside. And somehow, it still starts right up. So this is what I'm going to use for the lower sections for right now. It's a lot slower than the Bolands. The Bolands has a 48-inch deck, this is 22, so it takes more passes to cover the same ground. And there are other issues as well. The grass in my property gets pretty thick. It grows fast, and when it's been raining, it stays pretty wet. You combine all those factors, and the Toro tends to get clogged up underneath quite a bit. So every now and then I have to stop and clear it out, which just makes the whole process even slower. But the Toro has its limits too. It still can't handle the steepest part of the property. When the mower gets on a slope like this, the oil inside the engine shifts. Sometimes that oil can make its way into the cylinder or the air intake, and then when that happens, the engine burns it. That's the white smoke you're seeing. So this section is too steep for the Toro as well, which means neither mower is really the right tool for this part. So for the steepest parts and the edges, this is what I use. This is the Milwaukee M18 Weed Eater. It's lighter, it's easier to control, and it's a lot safer on steep ground than a mower is. But this has its own problems. My property eats through batteries. The grass gets thick, and when it's tall like this, the batteries just die fast. To get through the entire property with just the weed eater, just the super steep sections, it takes a long time, usually a few days. So right now, I basically have a few tools that all do a mediocre job. The Bolands works pretty good on the flat, The push mower can handle some of the hills and the weed eater handles the steep stuff. And while they're all good tools, for a property like this, it seems like I probably need something a little more heavy duty. I'm considering doing an engine swap for the Bollens, possibly getting a gas weed eater, and maybe a more commercial version of a lawnmower. Because right now each one works, but none of them are really ideal. You know what would be great? If you could combine a weed eater and a lawnmower. But I'm curious, what would you guys use if you had land like this? What would actually make this easier? Is there anything I should look into? If there is, let me know down in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.